Well, that big, beautiful bill, the BBB, which is probably going to be our credit rating in the future, as this bill increases expenses for all of us who are poor or in the middle class, looks like most consumers are going to have $3,000 added to their cost of living. $3,000 because goods are going to be so expensive. Now, while Trump is playing around with the tariff game, it's not a game for you and I. And what else happened this week? I cried on Monday. I cried when I heard how many children perished in that flash flood. And it could have been avoided. Every one of those lives could have been saved if we had only spent the money on emergency services and communication. And we're going to need to spend the money in the future. It's a necessity. It's not a want. It's a necessity. As I've read, over 118 people perished in the flood in that hill country in Texas and that Christian school for girls. What a pity. What a tragedy. Imagine if you had more than one child going to the camp. There was a warning at 1:14 in the morning. If there had been communications between the National Weather Service and people on the ground who could actually get the word out to the campers and to the area, they had 4 hours to evacuate. 4 hours. A lot could have been accomplished with the right communications. But the state of Texas thought, it's not necessary. It's a waste of money. Well, it's not a waste of money to save lives. There's no such thing anymore as a 100-year flood, because these 100-year floods are happening in Texas. They're happening in New Mexico. They're happening in North Carolina. They're happening in Europe. They're happening in China. They're happening in Pakistan. The whole globe is affected at glaciers melting. Floods, fires. This is the new normal. And are we prepared? No. Our country prefers to have a policy of, if I don't see it, and I don't acknowledge the toxins, and I don't acknowledge the pollution, and I just keep putting money into fossil fuels, everyone's going to be just fine. But as we know, we're not just fine. There's a direct correlation between carbon emissions, methane emissions, and higher global temperatures. In the Middle East, it was 50 degrees Celsius. That's 122 degrees. In Europe, it was 115 to 117 degrees Fahrenheit. Who can live without air conditioning? Last year, 15,000 people died because of the heat in Europe that we know of. How many Americans are going to die because of heat? How many in the poorer regions of our country have air conditionings or heat pumps or geothermal energy to help them have cooler spaces, or even trees that would cool the area 10 degrees? No. In this administration, lives don't count. The Department of Agriculture, the Secretary Rowland said, when the Medicaid cuts kick in and we need people to go out and work, well, they can take the jobs of the agriculture folks who have been deported. Really? You want to see a 78-year-old man who is incapable of walking? let alone bending, doing strawberry picking? I don't think so. And it's against ICE protocol. You're not allowed by the regulation to go into people's work area and round them up. But this administration is out of control. It's not doing what's legal. It's not legal to have face masks on ICE agents' faces and no identification so that they can't be called out if they've done something wrong. It's a crime. It's a crime against humanity. According to the Financial Times, of the 55,000 people who have been deported or in detention camps already, maybe 700 are criminals. How much are we going to have to pay for this tragic assault on American citizens? And it's our taxpayer money at work. We're paying for the privilege of deporting citizens, of setting up detention camps. We're paying for the privilege to have NOAA and ask that we have NOAA, the National Weather Service, and FEMA, and we're paying for the privilege of Trump diverting the money. Well, on July 17th, there's going to be a major march where we get into good trouble and we protest across the nation against all of these policies that don't benefit me and you, but benefit those at the top. Their wealth is going to increase by trillions. I heard something on TikTok the other day, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I can relate to one part of it. They said if you've got a private jet, as long as you use it 50% for business, you can deduct it 100%. But if you got a truck that you use for work, you better use that 100% of the time, not 50, or you can't deduct it. And even though I use my apartment for my work, I can't deduct that either, because my accountants always say, it might be a little fishy. So give me a break. You use a corporate jet, that's your personal jet, to fly you around, and you get 50% of it for business, and you deduct it 100%, and that's legal? That says it all, folks. The money is there for Trump and those who are loyal for Trump. And for the rest of us, we're unseen and we're unheard. And I think that's got to change. We need everyone to talk truth to power and do it now, before the midterms and the draconian cuts to Medicaid and SNAP programs kick in.